The Great Pyramid of Giza is often called one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. But what if we've been looking at it the wrong way? Its alignment to true north is so precise that it rivals, and in some measurements even surpasses, the accuracy of modern observatories. Yet at the very top of this colossal structure lies a mystery that has puzzled researchers for centuries: a missing piece. A 10-meter wide platform where the legendary Benben Stone, or Capstone, is believed to have once stood. Mainstream historians describe it as a symbolic finishing touch, possibly covered in gold and designed to reflect the sun's rays. But alternative researchers have proposed something far more extraordinary. What if the capstone wasn't merely decorative? What if it served a critical function, one that completed the pyramid itself? Today, we're not just searching for a lost artifact. We're investigating the possibility that the missing capstone was the final component of a forgotten technology. Because if those theories are correct, whoever removed the Benben Stone didn't just take a treasure. They may have switched off the ancient world's greatest machine. The Great Pyramid isn't just massive, it's astonishingly precise. Each of its 4 faces rises at an angle of roughly 51.5 degrees, creating a structure so geometrically accurate that even small errors would have been catastrophic. Imagine building a monument nearly 500 feet tall. If the alignment drifted by even a fraction of an inch at the base, the 4 sides would never meet correctly at the top. Yet somehow, they did. The pyramid sides converge with remarkable accuracy, forming one of the most precise large-scale structures ever created in the ancient world. This wasn't a small temple or a simple stone wall. It was a mountain of stone, built with mathematical precision on a scale that still impresses modern engineers. The deeper researchers look into the Great Pyramid, the stranger the numbers become. The base was laid out with extraordinary consistency across hundreds of feet. The corners align with a level of accuracy that leaves little room for error. Every measurement suggests careful planning, advanced surveying, and an understanding of geometry far beyond what most people associate with the Bronze Age. Building something this large is difficult. Building something this large while maintaining precision from the first stone to the last is another challenge entirely. Even today, large construction projects require constant corrections, advanced instruments, and teams of specialists to prevent tiny mistakes from becoming major structural problems. And that's where the real mystery begins. According to mainstream archaeology, the builders of the Great Pyramid achieved all of this using surprisingly simple tools, primarily copper chisels, stone hammers, wooden sleds, and measuring cords. No steel, no modern optics, no laser-guided instruments, just basic tools and human labor. But here's the question that continues to fuel debate among engineers, researchers, and alternative historians alike. If those explanations are completely correct, how did ancient builders achieve a level of precision that, in some cases, modern survey equipment struggles to match on such a massive scale? Because before we can understand what may have stood at the top of the pyramid, we first have to explain how the pyramid itself was built with such extraordinary accuracy.
Today, the Great Pyramid stands unfinished. Its summit is flat, bare, and missing the one element that may have defined the entire structure: the capstone. Ancient Egyptians referred to a sacred object known as the Benben Stone. According to tradition, it represented the first mound of creation, emerging from the primordial waters. Over time, pyramidions, the capstones placed atop pyramids and obelisks, became physical symbols of that sacred stone. But what exactly was the Benben Stone made of? Some historians believe it was covered in electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver, famous for its brilliant reflective properties. Others suggest it may have been plated with precious metals to create a dazzling beacon visible for miles across the Nile Valley. And that's where the mystery begins. Ancient Egyptian texts and traditions contain a curious detail. Some accounts describe the Benben as something that came from the heavens. To mainstream scholars, this is often interpreted symbolically, representing divine creation and the connection between the gods and the earth. But alternative researchers see something different. What if those stories preserved a distant memory of an unusual object, perhaps even a meteoritic stone? It wouldn't be the first time ancient civilizations valued material from space. Meteoric iron was used in several ancient cultures long before large-scale iron smelting became common. Was the Benben merely a religious symbol? Or could its legendary origin from the sky point to something more tangible that has since been lost to history? Then there's the material itself. Gold has fascinated humanity for thousands of years because it resists corrosion, reflects light brilliantly, and remains remarkably stable over time. In the modern world, gold is also widely used in advanced electronics because of its excellent conductivity and reliability. That fact has inspired one of the most controversial theories surrounding the Great Pyramid. If the capstone contained large amounts of gold or electrum, was its purpose purely ceremonial? Or did the material itself matter? Mainstream archaeology sees no evidence that the pyramid functioned as any kind of technological device. Yet alternative theorists argue that the choice of such valuable conductive materials may not have been accidental. And that raises a fascinating question. Imagine the challenge. Moving millions of stone blocks is already one of history's greatest engineering feats. Now, imagine lifting a massive capstone, possibly weighing several tons, to a height of nearly 480 feet above the desert floor. Ancient builders would have needed extraordinary planning, manpower, and precision to place it perfectly at the pyramid's summit. So why do it? If the capstone was only decorative, why place such importance on elevating it to the highest point of the structure? Why not display it in a temple where everyone could see it? Unless the location itself mattered. Unless the height wasn't symbolic at all. Because if the capstone served a specific function, then the top of the pyramid may have been the only place it could ever work. More than a century ago, Nikola Tesla envisioned a world powered by wireless energy. His idea was revolutionary. Transmit electricity through the earth and atmosphere without wires, allowing power to be received almost anywhere on the planet. Most historians view Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower as a bold but ultimately unsuccessful experiment. But some alternative researchers have noticed something intriguing. Both Tesla's tower and the Great Pyramid share a common characteristic: height, geometry, and strategic positioning. This observation gave rise to one of the most controversial theories in alternative archaeology: the idea that the Great Pyramid wasn't built as a tomb at all. Instead, they argue, it may have functioned as a giant energy device operating on principles humanity has long forgotten. According to the so-called Giza power plant theory, the pyramid's location was no accident. Beneath the Giza plateau lies groundwater moving through layers of rock. Some researchers speculate that vibrations generated by flowing water could have interacted with the pyramid's internal structure. The theory proposes that the enormous limestone and granite blocks amplified these vibrations, creating mechanical stress within the stone itself. Supporters often point to piezoelectric effects,
the phenomenon in which certain materials can generate electrical charges when subjected to pressure or vibration. Mainstream scientists do not accept the pyramid as a power plant, and no direct evidence has confirmed the theory. Yet, for proponents, this is where the story becomes increasingly fascinating. In the energy theory, the capstone plays a critical role. Researchers who support the idea suggest that a gold or electrum-covered Benben stone may have acted as the pyramid's final component, an elevated transmitter positioned at the highest point of the structure. Some ancient accounts and later traditions describe the pyramid shining brilliantly under certain conditions, leading enthusiasts to speculate about far more dramatic possibilities. But even if we entertain the theory for a moment, a major question remains. If the Great Pyramid was generating or transmitting energy, where did that energy go? What was its destination? And why has no obvious evidence of such a system survived? To explore those questions, we need to examine one of the pyramid's most mysterious locations, the Queen's Chamber, where what archaeologists found and what they didn't find may be equally important.
For centuries, historians have offered a simple explanation for the missing capstone. Some suggest it was removed by treasure hunters. Others believe it disappeared during periods of conquest, looting, or stone recycling in the Middle Ages. One popular claim is that valuable materials covering the pyramid's summit were stripped away long ago. But here's the question that keeps alternative researchers interested. If the Benben Stone was truly covered in massive amounts of gold or electrum, where did it go? A structure of such significance would have represented an extraordinary prize. Yet no clear historical record describes the appearance of a giant pyramid capstone entering major markets, royal treasuries, or famous collections. According to the theory, the artifact didn't simply change hands. It vanished. And for some, that raises more questions than answers.
Of course, mainstream archaeology maintains that the Great Pyramid was built as a royal tomb, and that no evidence supports the idea of a lost energy system. But alternative theories continue to thrive because of one lingering mystery: the missing capstone. What if the pyramid wasn't merely a monument? What if it was an unfinished machine, missing the very component that gave it purpose? Today, the Great Pyramid stands silent beneath the Egyptian sky, its summit incomplete, its secrets still debated. And perhaps that's why the image of a pyramid with a detached capstone continues to capture the imagination. So here's the question. Was the Benben Stone simply a symbolic crown? A forgotten piece of ancient technology? Or something else entirely? What do you think? Share your theory in the comments.